today we're going to go over the planetary aspects that are surrounding us and affecting us for this upcoming week of November 13th through the 19th. And today I am sitting in the hallway because I have loud children with their trains and transformers in the living room. And so I've got a plain, boring background here, but that's okay. We're going to make it work, right? So this week we are going into the new moon phase. A couple weeks ago we were dealing with the Taurus full moon. A lot of focus on all of the tangible items in our life, focused on money, focused on our debts, focused on where we have outstanding debts and how we want to get them taken care of and how much money we're making and how much more we need to bring in and how we want to save it. Those kinds of things were really the focus a couple of weeks ago in that full moon phase. Now we are leading into the new moon phase portion of it. Okay, this is where the new beginnings start happening because of those things that we put into that full moon. At full moon time, we're fed up. We're like, we're done. I don't want to deal with this no more. And then the new moon time comes around, and that's where we start planting our seeds of intention to manifest the things that we do want, especially in terms of the things that are physical and tangible. And that is money and our body, okay? Taurus, well, that's still part of it. That's the polar opposite sign of Scorpio, and this is what we're dealing with is the Scorpio New Moon. The Scorpio Sun and the Scorpio Moon align, and that's what creates a dark, they shadow one another out, and that's why there's nothing in the sky. That's why we got to go on blind faith that things are going to get better. But Taurus and Scorpio, because they're polar opposite signs, they still are both fixed signs. So anytime we have a full moon or a new moon in a fixed sign, so that's going to be, of course, Taurus and Scorpio, and then Aquarius and Leo, if we have new moons or full moons in those areas, that's the best time to start a diet. That's the best time to start really making major changes to fix things, because in a fixed moon, that's when we stick with it. We make sure that things get done. So if your intentions in that full moon a couple of weeks ago had to do with the body or your money, this is a great time for those new beginnings to come through. That's especially true because at the beginning of this week on Monday, we have Jupiter, the planet of luck, aligning with Venus, the planet of money. And when those two align, I mean, what does that do? It infuses money and love with luck. This is a wonderful once in a year event that happens as Venus transits over and lines up and takes on the energy of Jupiter. We got a lot happening with Venus this week, okay? Not only is it giving a lot of opportunities in those areas, thanks to Jupiter, Venus itself is just kind of the star of the week. It really, truly is. Venus, like I said, is a planet of love and money, and it just transited into that sign of Scorpio last week. So when Venus goes into Scorpio 3 weeks out of the year, we love a little bit more intensely. We are a little bit more deeply intertwined in our relationships. We want to get to the heart of matters that are going on. We want to feel deeply. We want to feel more connected with our partner. And in the process, it brings out a lot of emotional sludge, right? It really does. Now, there's a shadow side to that, and this week that might come out a little bit stronger because that Venus is aligning with Jupiter at the beginning of this week. So Jupiter is going to magnify and amplify those energies of intensity that come in our relationships, especially if sex is the focus. If that's been an issue in these relationships, it's going to get magnified this week yet again, because the universe is saying, let's create some changes, let's create some transformations. And Scorpio deals with those darker aspects in our lives that we don't necessarily want to talk about, like sex. Those are things we bury to the bottom. But Jupiter this week is bringing that out, saying, let's bring it out, let's deal with it, let's get this taken care of, right? Especially if there's issues surrounding that. So, yes, Venus, Venus going through Scorpio. It's a little bit of a prickly situation, I suppose you could say, because it's great to feel deeply in love, but it can also bring out the shadow side of Scorpio, which has to do with being possessive, being a little bit jealous. This is a week when jealousies come to the forefront. So if you're having issues like that in your relationships, it's best to just feel them. Let those emotions come to the surface, and know that this week, as we lead into this new moon of new beginnings in Scorpio, why are these jealousies coming up? Why am I feeling these things? Why do I feel so possessive? Why do I feel like I need to be in control? Why can't I allow myself to surrender a little bit more so in that sexual relationship? Why am I not feeling like I'm getting enough? Why am I giving too much? Those things are major focus as Venus goes through Scorpio. So this week, not only does it align with Jupiter, kind of blowing that up, magnifying those issues, what's happening is it's trying to open a window, a little bit of a doorway to let some good energy come through, to expand you in those areas where those relationships have become stagnant, where you want those changes to come through. So just know that on Monday morning, when you wake up and you look up in the sky, you are going to see those beautiful planets, Jupiter and Venus, aligning. It's going to look like the brightest dang star in the world because we can see them with the naked eye. That bright star that's going to be out there in the east, that is our two buddies aligning. Stand out there, enjoy that energy. Know that the universe is right there trying to bring you not only luck in those relationships and open those windows of opportunity for change to come through in them as you look at that. It's doing the same for money as well. Thinking back to that full moon a couple weeks ago, what intentions did you put out there? What things did you want to change? This is where things really start to shift and change. So, yes. So we got that happening up in there. Bringing some new hope and optimism in those areas, because that's what Jupiter does, right? It expands us and pushes us beyond where we're comfortable. Now, another thing that Venus is going to be doing the very next day on Tuesday. So Monday, those issues come to the forefront. We're really aware of them. They get magnified thanks to Jupiter. But then on Tuesday, Neptune comes on through and it makes a connection with that Venus as well. That deep feeling, living planet Venus, where it's at right now out there in Scorpio. So it's going to give a very highly romantic energy in the air. All right, this is where if you put it out there where those changes are that you want to happen, this is a time when romance is a little bit higher, because Neptune is a dreamy planet. It wants to make life more fantasy filled. It wants to make things more exciting. And so when it aligns with that planet of love and money, we dream a little bit more for both. And it's good to just feel that energy, because that's what Venus and Scorpio wants us to do. It wants us to feel the depths of what our heart is telling us. This is also good for just creative thinking in general, especially if you have a career that really relies on your creative energies. This is a great time to tap into it this week, especially because Jupiter is magnifying that and giving you opportunities. If you've got some great ideas for something new you want to make, something new you want to create, some new ideas for marketing, or if you want to take on a more creative person in your business or a creative role in your job, this is a great time to send that out there in the universe, because it's listening and it's going to respond as well and give you those wonderful ideas that you need and opportunities as well. So now one of the things, though, is that Neptune, that's the positive side, right? It helps us to dream bigger and think about what we want on a larger scale. But on the shadow side, what Neptune does is it kind of clouds our judgment, right? Because we get so caught up in the fantasy world that we don't necessarily see things as they are. Now, towards the end of the week, on Thursday, we have Mercury. Why did I throw that down? I didn't mean to throw that down. Jeez. We have Mercury, the planet of the mind, squaring off with Neptune. This is the second time this has happened this year. Now, when that happens, our judgment gets a little more clouded because we feel like we're walking in a fog. So if you feel that energy, especially my Gemini or Virgo or Pisces friends this week, don't be surprised if you feel a little bit like you're in a mental fog. Because for all of us, we got to be a little bit careful on decisions that we do make, because maybe our judgment's a little more cloudy than it normally is because of that Neptune fog that rolls in. And another thing too is that Neptune, while that fog rolls in, it's so focused on the dreams that it has that it doesn't see things for the reality that it is. or it may deceive in the process as well. So we just got to be really careful about the communications that we have with ourselves and others. Just make sure you're following what your intuition is telling you, especially in this week with so much strong Scorpio energy about following what your instincts are telling you. Listen to those, okay? Because this week with Mercury going, we're like in Romanceville and we're dreaming like crazy, and we may not see things as accurately as they really are. So just keep an eye out for that. That's a quick transit that happens. But back into this new moon, and that happens on Saturday. I tell you what, new moons are, this is one of the most powerful new moons of the year because Scorpio represents the transformations that happen in our lives. This is a time when we can peer into the darkness that's out there, that surrounds us, the unknown, and embrace what's hidden from our line of sight, from our view. Of course, you can see that Neptune and Jupiter this week are really kind of pushing us to look beyond there and dream a little bit bigger and see things preferably for the reality that they are. And we look to see that reality and we say, this is where the changes need to happen. Scorpio in astrology is where the transformations happen, but it happens because we let go of something. Something has to end in order for those new beginnings to come. That's why they consider Scorpio so dark and deep, because it deals with those death and loss and the transformations that result. And they usually the transformations that are the best for us. They bring us the greatest happiness, but we have to let something go. So this is that new moon that gives us a chance to change and transform our lives. It got brought to the forefront a couple of weeks ago in Taurus. What are you ready to end? And now it's saying, okay, let's start planting those seeds for the rebirth to occur. This is where we rid ourselves of what no longer serve us, and we move forward into things that really, truly do. So, what a wonderful week we have in the world of astrology. Let's pull some cards, as we normally do. Get a little bit more insight from our guardian angels and see what they want us to keep in mind this week. As romance fills the air, as dreamy energy fills the air, as we dare to dream bigger in our lives, right? We still need to stay a little bit focused to see the reality for what it is. Don't cloud ourselves. Looking back into the past with rose-colored glasses and making it better than it was. You know, that's another thing, too, that happens as Neptune and Mercury align. We tend to make things better than what they were or worse than what they were. So just ask for these angels to come through and make it a little bit clearer as to what the reality of it is. So, okay, so let's start with pulling a stone. Let's see what angels are around us this week. New moon angel. Well, isn't that something awesome? I pulled a stone here that is, I'm trying to think who I'm going to make this one. It's a little bit of both. At first I started feeling that it was Archangel Haniel, the angel of the moon, the one that helps us get in touch with our intuition, which I feel she's around anyway, anytime the moon goes in its newer full phases. But part of it also makes me feel that it's Archangel Raguel, the angel for Sagittarius energy. Sagittarius energy, this is the one, Raguel comes through when there are rifts in our relationships, when there's difficulties in our relationships, when there's arguments and tension. And Archangel Raguel is the one that we call on to smooth that out and diffuse it. So I feel like we got a mashup of the two angels here. We got Haniel on the left helping us to understand things clearer and use our intuition to see that and peer into that darkness a little bit more. But we also have Raguel coming through to help bring the healing aspect of Scorpio, which that's what it does through these transformations. It heals. It's like that salve that you put over the burn. And Raguel is the one that's most focused in relationships. So feel that one coming. All right, so here we go. We're going to call on both of those angels and see what their guidance is for us for this week. Beyond everything I just said. So let's see. okay, geez. Okay, so this card jumped out. Okay, I gotcha. This is, okay. Somebody's going into a new relationship. They're definitely reminding us. There's two cards that go with this, and I love this. They are reminding me that there is a lot of work going on in relationships this week. We're going to be feeling deep. Like I said, I mean, this is the week where Venus is getting a lot of power punches, a lot of good things that are coming through that really want to change those way the relationships are working. So this is a card, the Two of Cups in normal tarot, but in mine here it's the Two of Water, that indicates a new relationship, a relationship that moves to the next level, it's just focused on, let me debride it, okay? The relationship that continues to grow closer. Forgiveness and the positive resolution of a conflict. Have you had conflict arise in your closest relationships in the past couple of weeks after that full moon that's coming through trying to change things? That's what this year is all about. This year is really focused on those relationships. That's why I had that next card that was in line is the card of this year, 2017, the star. This is a card of Venus and Jupiter. Look at those dudes in the back. That star that's there, that's exactly what I was saying is going to be out there this week if you look up there. That brings change, that works on main focus, the heart center. What is it my heart's telling me I want and I need in these closest relationships? And this is a card that indicates that the good things are coming. Whether you need to fix a relationship, I'm feeling a lot of repair work coming through here. There's people watching that are trying to fix what's existing in a relationship. I feel a lot of push for that. But I also feel for those who have gone through the heartache of having to let go, doing the Scorpio thing of having to let go of relationships this year, that God is working behind the scenes, and Archangel Raguel as well, his right-hand man, and Jophiel, the relationship angels that come through to connect and secure that twin flame soulmate connection that's meant to come through this year for the relationships that have reached their natural ending, the cycle of ending that's occurred. That's also indicating to me that it's still on the way. Keep patient and have faith because it's coming through, right? Relationships. But this is a week, right? Jupiter comes through and brings luck, brings opportunity, and it renews our hope and our optimism that it's going to happen, right? So I'm going to pull another card really quick to get one little one-word answer. I'm going to call more so on Haniel, the angel of the moon, the one with intuition, to give us like a one-word mantra for the week to keep following that intuition, even though if things look really dark and bleak in this time. What's going to help power us through as this transformation takes hold and form in this year of new beginnings. So, Haniel. Ooh, that one jumped out too. OMG! OMG, look at that. Faith. Just have faith that it's all going to work out, right? On this brick road that we're all walking on our journey, we have to have faith that it's going to come through. I love it. There's a little pile of amethyst there. And amethyst in just crystal belief and of course, in my heart too, it's balancing the male and female energies within each one of us. Female energy is intuitive knowing what we need to do. And then the male energy is the red. I didn't tell you that's blue. Female is blue, male is red, and the male is the action and making it happen. So not only do we know intuitively we need to do, we need to act. We need to have the confidence and the energy behind us and that faith, right, to act on it and make things happen. So when you fuse red and blue together, what do you get? Purple. So it's a perfect mashup of our male and female energies of knowing and doing. So Haniel suggests that. Just have faith, right? Hardest thing to do in the darkest of times, and that's exactly what a new moon represents, is having faith in the darkest of the times when we can't see what's coming. But we know that we're planting those seeds of manifesting to come through, and obviously it's bringing some really good things for our relationships as a result. So everybody, thank you so much for watching, and be sure to look up there and see how the blessings of Jupiter are bringing us a lot of expansion to that heart center for love and money this week. Okay? Universe is working with you. Thank you. Bye.